So, I want to say some things while this plays. That intro you guys just saw was not for A Realm Reborn. That was Final Fantasy XIV before. That was Final Fantasy XIV before Yoshi P took control. The game back then was in a state of disarray, to say the least. It was not a good state for the game to be in, and it had a lot of problems. So when Yoshi P took over, he told the developers to scrap everything from the original Final Fantasy XIV game and rebuild it all from the ground up. That moment, I think that a moment alone was probably the most defining gamble in all of gaming, especially for an MMO. To just scrap what the base game was like and then basically make the developers rebuild the game from the ground up was such a huge gamble. But it was a gamble that worked. It was a gamble that helped them and played in their favor. And do not worry, everyone. We will be seeing these characters later. Just a little thing from me. Welcome, everyone, to Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. Now, how about we create a character? Now, I did do a little bit of thinking before stream of who and what I wanted to play. Now, yes, all of the races do give you a little bit of a buff here and there, but they are next to they're basically next to just useless. So, I did a bit of thinking. Did a bit of figuring out what I liked, what I thought was fun, and what race I wanted to go through the game with. And I figured out that the race that I wanted to play with is the Elazines. The elf race. I will be making a male elf. And they will be a part of the Wildwoods. Okay, so to everyone on YouTube who is watching this video, you probably had a bit of a time skip, or the video suddenly sped up. I was creating my character, that's all I was doing. And now we get to choose a class. So let's explain what the classes do here. Gladiator. This has the corresponding job of Paladin. You are a tank. You are a part of the front lines. You are specialized in one-handed weapons with a shield. That is all you will be using. You are the person who will be mitigating for your team. You will be basically up front and making sure that you are the one taking all the damage while your healer helps you. They are important. They are needed. I will not be playing Gladiator. Marauder, another tank. Corresponding job, Warrior. Specializes in axes. Great axes specifically. Another tank. Again, you will be on the front lines. Both Gladiator and Marauder have different skill sets. While yes, they play the same role, they are very different in what skills they have and what they can do. I will not be playing Marauder. For your healers, you have Conjurer, which goes into White Mage. You need to keep your party alive. You need your tank to be taking the mitigation so that you are not being attacked. And you need to keep your DPS alive so that they can do all the DPS checks. You are important. You are the main character of a team. Even if there's two healers, you are the main healer, no matter what. I will not be going Conjurer. Pugilist. Corresponding job, Monk. We're going into the DPS now. You punch. That is all I can say for this class. You punch stuff. Later on, down the line, when you do go into Monk and that, it does get more complicated. It is one of those classes that you will have time to learn if you start off here. I will not be going Pugilist. Lancer. Corresponding job, Dragoon. This class always has the joke of they are the floor tank. And in some retrospects, that is true. Some of you Dragoon players out there do love just being a floor tank. And while yes, it's funny, we need you for DPS. They specialize in spears, and later on will possess powers of a dragon. I will not be going Lancer. Archer. Classic bow and arrow. You guys have the corresponding job, Bard. This class is great if you want to have a DPS class that also buffs your team. Bards get quite a few different buffs that can be played as songs, and they are very helpful. However, this is a class of rotations. You need to learn how to rotate your songs. I will not be going Archer. Thaumaturgy. Corresponding job, Black Mage. This class originally starts off with only a wand-like weapon, but you do eventually go up to just having a staff once you hit Black Mage. They are massive DPS, but they are also massive with their rotations on all their spells. The amount of people that I know who have to have some sort of thing telling them what their rotation is, it's outstanding that a lot of people have it, and especially when you get into later content, because I myself, when I played Black Mage, learning the rotations was still so new to me, despite the fact that I have my Black Mage at level 100 now. I will not be playing Thaumaturgy. Arcanist, which has the corresponding jobs of Summoner and Scholar. While they might not seem powerful at first, they have the potential to do as much damage as most other DPS. You also get the benefit of not only leveling up a DPS class, but also a healer class. I will be choosing Arcanist, and there is a reason why. And the reason why I will be choosing Arcanist is because originally I was a Summoner main back in the day. And I want to relive that experience. We will not have any of the skills that we did before. We will not have a dot summoner, unfortunately. We'll only be able to play with what we got, which is almost a shell of its former self. But I still love it, and I still want to play it. So, we select Arcanist. And we cannot create characters on here. Alright. We will be on Zalera instead. On Crystal. Yeah, I think we'll go with Stink Metalist. I actually like the sound of that better. So, let us start off as this new character in this world.
Here. Here. Feel. Hear, feel, think.
Oi, you alright, lad? You were moaning in your sleep and sweating buckets besides. Rolling not off the ship got your stomach churning, has it? Don't seem like seasickness, now that I look at you. It'll be the 8th then, I reckon. Some are more sensitive to the stuff than others. See, we aren't too far from Varbrand now, which is chock full of aetherites. No need to fret, though. You'll soon get used to it. Ugh. Might as well have been blooming seasickness. Sheeps? What? Ships leaping around like a demented chocobo today. I reckon I might head out on deck, get myself a breath of fresh air. Limsa Laminsa's still a far ways off, in case you were wondering. Seeing as you're awake and all, how about you keep me company till we get there? Them young'uns don't much care for conversation, see? Any road, Brennan's the name, and Penlin's my trade. Ah, smell that salty sea breeze. Now then, lad, judging by your unusual garments, I say you're one of the new adventurers. Am I warm? I knew it. Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory. Now that's what I call living. So long as you can avoid dying, I mean. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business. These days especially. What was it that first attracted you to it? Now, this is something that will be a part of the entire game. Depending on what you choose, you will have different lines of dialogue. This does not affect how the game goes forward, albeit for a few certain things, but those we will not discuss about until we arrive at them. For now, I think we'll be the strongest silent type. But if you ain't inclined to tell, I ain't about to pry. Might be as old Brennan's a chatterbox, but he sure as hell ain't no busybody. We all have a secret or three, don't we? Me, dozens. And I'd rather they stay secret too, which is why I don't go sticking my nose where I ain't welcome. Just remember though, there's more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. Ugh! Ships off the starboard bow! Pirate colours! Pirates? Bloody hells. Have you no sense? Get below! Where's this world coming to? Pirates firing on a ship flying Laminza's colours. Bastards either have a boatload of balls or bugger all for brains. You go rest easy, friends. We made it out of cannon range, and no buccaneers bark will catch this flighty temptress once the wind's in her sails. That was too bleeding close. Glad one of us kept his head on his shoulders. I reckon I'd lost mine otherwise. Then pirates gave up the chase. We must be close to port. Let's head up on deck and have a look, shall we? By the way, is this your first trip to Limsa Laminza? This dialogue choice does not change all that much anyway. We'll say yes. It is. Well then, let this journey... Hold on. Words are very hard. It is. Well then let this journey itinerant tell you the ins and outs of your destination. Limsa Laminza prides itself on being Eorzea's foremost naval power. Weren't too long ago that the place was ruled by pirates, but thanks to the current admiral's civilian influence, the city-state could almost pass for a respectable nation. You'd never guess she was once a rum-swilling buccaneer herself. Of course, most folk ain't so quick to change, but with a town full of liberty-loving ruffians, you can imagine how many naysayers and troublemakers she's got to deal with, like the pirates who took a fancy to us just now. And if they weren't bad enough, I heard the Shahagin are raiding the coast just as bold as you please. Them the sea-dwelling beastmen the locals call fishbacks, in case you didn't know. At long last, land ho. Beyond Limsa Laminza, a nation blessed by the ocean's bounty and beloved of Limlayan, goddess of navigation.
On a windswept isle in the southwestern corner of the realm, amidst the roiling waves of the Rotano Sea, lies the maritime city-state of Limsa Lominsa. To this haven for bandits and brigands, cutthroats and curs, seekers of both freedom and fortune, comes a lone adventurer. Lone yet not alone, for the hero's arrival has drawn the gaze of the nation's patron deity, Lim Lane. What realm-shaking fate has she descried in the churning waters of this mortal's future?
And here's where we part ways, son. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares. Then it's on the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this. But ways of thanks for saving me ass earlier. Hey, you never did tell me your name, did you? Well, here's an idea. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square.
Through peril and hardship, discovery and triumph, may the navigator guide this brave soul on his life's voyage. Till sea swallows all.
Hey, you there? Aye, I mean you. This is my district, and I make it my business to know all the scum that washes up in here. Ah, adventurer fresh off the boat, is it? Well then. Allow one of Limsa Laminta's finest to set you on the right path. Hop to it, lad. Haven't got all day. Welcome to Limsa Laminta, bustling city-state filled with scoundrels and brigands. The rough-cut diamond of the Rotano Sea. And here we are. We have made it to Limsa Laminta. Let's see what this yellow jacket wants. Coming to Limsa Laminta. To be recognized as an adventurer in the city-state of Limsa Laminta, you must first register yourself with the Adventurers Guild. Now then, I'm sure you're itching to explore, but adventurers are required to register their presence in the city. And without a bit of local knowledge, you're likely to get your throat slit in some piss-stinking alley. So before you do anything else, get yourself over to the Drowning Wench and enroll with the Adventurers Guild. It's not far. Just head straight down this street and speak with Garfar. He'll show you how to work that big moving platform we call the Crow's Lift, and that'll take you up to the pub. Once you're there, Look for a fellow by the name of Baderon. He's the proprietor of the wench. He might curse like an ale-sodden sailor, but the man's got a soft spot for the wide-eyed newcomers like yourself. He'll set you straight. Got all that? Good. Now run along. May the navigator guide you on your journey. We have begun a quest. Welcome to Limsa Laminta. If you have a mind to visit the drowning wench, the crow's lift will take you there. Greetings to you, lad. Well, it'll be. But you ain't here for a drink, are you? Come with a mind to try and... Wow. Yeah. This is the thing about starting off with Limsa Laminta. You gotta really understand what they're trying to say. Well, it'll be. But you ain't here for a drink, are you? You come with a mind to try your hand at adventuring, I reckon. Well, you'll find no shortage of work here in Limsa. The name's Baderon, and this most hospital of hostelries is the Drowned Wench. It is also the home of the Adventurers Guild here in Limsa. That's why we've got a desk specifically for handling guild business, and why it seems to spend most time saving the necks of whelps like yourself than wetting the throats of mere regulars. Adventurers have a knack for finding trouble, see? Not that they need it in these parts, on account of being trouble wherever you look. If you manage to stay clear of the fishbacks and the kobolds outside the city, the pirates on the inside will get you instead. And if they don't manage, there's always the Guardian Empire to finish the job. Oh, no one knows what they're planning, of course, but if they're planning anything, you can be sure it is to kill the lot of us. Aye, this town seems peaceful at a glance, but look again and you'll see a people living in fear of what tomorrow might bring. And who could blame him after everything that happened? Eorzea took a mighty blow during the calamity, but our homes weren't the only ones what got wiped off the face of existence by that thrice damned bastard of a dragon. Took our bleeding memories too. No one's been able to explain it in a way that makes an ounce of sense. None of the folks what saw it and lived to tell the tale seem to agree on how the tale actually goes. It is all foggy, like recollections from an aired night on the ale. You can imagine why people might fear for the future if they can't rightly recall the past. But there is one thing we all remember, and that's the group of adventurers what laid down their lives to drag Eorzea back from the brink when she was bound for the abyss. Well, I say we remember. Truth is, that we ain't forgetting what they did for us. This godfordamed calamity-spawned memory loss robbed us of their names. Won't even let us picture their damned faces. Just like staring at a gull flying in front of the sun. All you see is in your mind is a shadow set against a blinding glare. And that's how every bugger describes it, by the way. Give or take the odd goal. If this what's got people calling these heroes, it's what got these people calling these heroes the Warrior of Light. If Limsa's ever going to put this time of darkness behind it, it's going to need adventurers to help banish the fear. It's going to need new heroes like the ones we lost. Maybe one day you'll be one of them. And that's why any aid we can give to an adventurer is effort well spent. What say you, lad? You willing to lend us your strength? My thanks to you, and to the navigator and all. I knew she steered you my way for a reason. But listen to me yattering on like a sun-touched fishwife. It's high time we got you marked in my books. Put your scroll right there. Sneak Metalist, is it? And a fine name it is. Congratulations, you're now an upstanding member of the Adventurers Guild. You there, adventurer. You sailed on the last ferry, did you not? The captain reported being attacked by a pirate vessel, and several witnesses have testified independently that a passenger matching your description went out on deck mere moments before the incident took place. Sending friends signals, were you? Oh, hold on just a moment there, officer. You got the wrong bloke. This fine, upstanding young gent in me dear... Trying to get through all this dialogue. I swear I'm tempted to join VC just to do the voice for that pirate. I'm getting annoyed there is no pirate accent. Oh, boo-hoo, Clayton. This fine, upstanding young gent in me dear departed grandma's sister's niece cousin's closest companion. Jesus. I forget how, like, distantly related he tries to make us. This fine, upstanding young gent is me dear departed grandma's sister's niece cousin closest companion. The lad wouldn't be caught dead fantasizing with such unsavory elements. Is that right? You are surely aware of the recent kidnappings. Respectfully, then, we cannot be too trusting of outsiders at a time when the loyalty of even our closest friends is in doubt. Aye, you make a good point there, officer. A very good point. Very wise. You needn't worry, though. I'll keep an eye open at all times. Me and two more often than not. Now, sir, what say you to a tankard of me finest ale afore you return to your duties, eh? Not a watered-down cup of piss like last time, I sure hope. Ain't got the faintest idea what you're on about, officer. The wench might offer some of the cheapest grog this side of the straight or mouthful, but that doesn't mean it won't get you good and pickled. Look, there's a chair over there just crying out to be sat on. So kick off them heavy boots, eh? You'll have to excuse these eager bloody yellow jacks. There's been a spat of kidnappings. Seeing they ain't got a clue what's behind them. Naturally, they take into clapping irons on anyone who looks vaguely suspicious, which means venturers, visitors, and pretty much every bugger else in this town. Don't take it personally, though. Us Lominzers can be headstrong bunch of bastards. 'Tis true, but given time, we'll grow on you. Now, where was I? Oh, aye. Welcome to Limsa Lomitza, where the sea's as green as the faces of me patrons after a few too many black belly whiskies. Now, take a moment to gather your wits, and we'll get started with learning the ways of the sea. And there we go. We have completed the start. That was just the introduction. So, now that we're here, let me catch up with chat. Alright. Close to home. Badron, proprietor of the Drowning Wench, wants you to perform 3 tasks that will help you learn the fundamentals of adventuring. Alright then, let's start you off nice and easy with 3 tasks that will help you get used to life here in Limsa. Firstly, if you head down the floor, then point your nose to the west, you'll get an eyeful of the great glowing crystal in the middle of the courtyard. That's an aetheryte, device that can move you from one place to another in a blink of an eye. Ain't no swifter way to travel, provided there's an aetheryte where you want to go, of course. Have a chat with the Yellow Jacket on guard down there, and you'll be treated to a lecture on the working of the device. Before you do that, though, remember to touch the thing. Strange as it sounds, it won't work till you have. Second on the list is the marketplace. You'll find weapons, armor, and all your venturing bits and pieces for sale in the district, what lies beyond the aetheryte. Don't go throwing your gear around just yet, though. Don't go throwing your gear around just yet, though, or you get fleeced quicker than you could say, "Where's me coin purse so light?" Have a word with Swabblade. Is it Swasblade? Instead, he's the head of the Merchants League, by the way. Given this old Octon, and he'll treat you well. For the last meal for hints, I suggest you meet some fellow spellslingers at the Arcanist Guild. I guarantee you'll learn a few new tricks for your tome if you decide to join their crew. Mary at the front desk is the one that will get you started. Got all that, lad? Seeing to them 3 tasks take you on a little jaunt around the city and help you work out where everything is. Now, I best be getting on. Run along, eh? Bugger it. There I go, sending you off without telling you something crucial. That bloody calamity's made a right old mess of my memory, I swear. Well, that or the ale. Any rate, while you're out there, if you happen to pass any poor sods that look like they might need some help, consider giving their tale a woe a listen, eh? Sounds like a chore, I admit, but you never know what interesting opportunities could be lurking out there, just waiting for you to stumble on them. For example, Ninia over yonder has been casting glances at you since we waltzed in. Why not lend an ear and see what she has to say? Aye, you like to find yourself running old errands in the beginning, but once you build a reputation as a man folk can trust, the jobs get harder and the rewards more generous. If the time, I'd also seek the advice of the old smiths here in the wench. The lads as bear the title the lads as bears that titles have some fine advice for them what are just starting out in the profession. And that, my lad, is how you get that's how you go about becoming a legend among adventurers. To leave the Drowned Wedge, you must accept the quest Making a Name by speaking with Ninia. So, we can do that. However, okay, we can't actually do it now. So we'll do this quest. Oh, would you look at this? Shiny new adventurer. Listen close, lad. I have some information that might just help you put you on the map here in Limsa. I was passing through Bulwark Hall below not long ago. Saw a bunch of herbs just scattered on the ground. Now, I'm not entirely certain, but I think they may be the black market wares known as dream flowers. Limsa Laminsa is a busy port. Not all the merchants that blow in across the strait are above board, if you know what I mean. How'd the plants end up in the mezamast? Who knows? Might have been a deal gone bad. The important thing is you make a name for yourself by handing them in. Speak to Scanrail, and she'll get you down to the first floor. Then all you have to do is pick up the herbs and take them to... Someone's just smashed their keyboard with that name. Aldskef of at the Octant. Being a worldly captain, she knows a thing or two about shady goods. Alright. Let's take the lift down. You wish to visit Bulwark Hall below? The crow's lift is ready when you are. That gives us a tutorial about interacting. So we'll just walk up, start interacting with them. And boom, just like that. We go to this guy. Yes, I am Aldskef. You have some herbs you wish me to examine. Oh, I didn't get to read that. Never mind. Forgive me. I could not resist the jest. These herbs are naught more than Althic lavender, a common enough export from Limsa Laminsa. In fact, they probably spilled from crates that were loaded onto my very ship. I think someone has been having a bit of fun with you, son, but not to worry. You've learned a few things and made a new acquaintance. Well met. Alright. Let's attune ourselves to the safe, alright? Ah, another novice adventurer. Aye. Badron has sent more than a few of your kind this way of late. I am Sudhilmer, one of the Yellow Jackets tasked with keeping the peace in the city. It's also my charge to provide guidance in use of this device. Fear not, I shall be brief. Just having a drink before I continue on speaking. Aetherites are crystalline structures that tap into etherical energies. They are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Return and teleport, the most common transportation spells, make direct use of the Aetherites and their connections to the flow of Aether. And as these devices are found in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer worthy of the name will wish to seek out and attune himself to each one. Once you have expanded your horizons beyond the wall of the city, you'll soon find yourself performing the act of attunement as a matter of course. There is, however, no need for unseemly haste. The Aetherites found in and around the city will be sufficient for the present, I assure you. Should you wish to learn more about Aetherites or transportation magic, I shall be here to answer your questions. We have learnt the return spell. You attune with the Aetherite. You're now able to use the return spell. So, return spell allows us to travel back to our home point. What is a home point, you ask? Well, any place that has one of these giant Aetherites, we can set as a home point. Setting it as a home point means that this is one of our preferred locations. Making stuff like teleporting back here cheaper, we are able to use the return spell to here. And using the return spell doesn't cost us anything, however it is on a 900-second cooldown. Using teleportation does cost money, however. So you always want to make sure you've got enough gills that you can teleport, or you're just going to end up walking everywhere. Let's talk with Swazblade. Fine evening to you, sir. Welcome to the most replete marketplace in the grand realm of Eorzea, wherever shelves groan under the weight of wonders born from all four corners of the world. Pray browse the stalls until your eyeballs ache from oogling the overabundance of unbelievable bargains. Now, as much as I would love to elaborate upon the unrivaled quality of our merchandise, I must tend to some cargo, but recently arrived at the docks. You bear a gift from Badron. Wherever could it? Ah, my oxent. By the navigator, I must have left it behind in the wedge, along with the week's pay and several bells worth of intoxicated memories. I am most grateful to have it back. This tool is a keepsake for from my days as a ship captain, you see. Needless to say, your good deed must be repaid. And what better compense than the wisdom of a master merchant? If it is simple and sturdy adventuring equipment you seek, you need look no further than the east and west arms of Hawker's Alley. Least you doubt, each gil you invest in arms and weapons will be money well spent. Adventuring is, after all, a dangerous profession by its very nature. It goes without saying that Hawker's Alleys boast stalls specializing in the tools of every material discipline imaginable, martial discipline. And within but a few steps are bazaars and apothecaries that will most amply supply all your potion and perishable needs. Our keen-eye agents procure a frankly befuddling range of wares during their sojourn to distant shores, so it pays to become familiar with the type and price of the goods offered to each stall. Such knowledge will serve you well if your purse is light or your time is short. But verbal instructions of this kind will only profit you so much. Experience has ever been the surest teacher, if not the kindest. I invite you to explore the markets for yourself. we will do at a later point. But for the meantime, we're going to be running this way. I will speak with Murray. Welcome to the Arcanist Guild. It is here that we research and develop the field of Arcanima. Some words. Arcanima is the science of employing arcane geometries, intrinsic patterns that map the unlocked mysteries of existence, to draw forth and manipulate the body's etheric energies. But if I am not mistaken, you already possess some rudimentary understanding of the craft. Shall I deepen your knowledge of our history as well? The root of Arcanima can be traced back to the historic calculations practiced by the people of the South Sea Isles. It was these Isle folks that first discovered a method to express natural phenomenon in mathematical terms. Building on this process, the existing mathematical formulae were further developed into arcane geometries, precise patterns that allow a practitioner to weave aether into specific magical effects. The mages who evoked this new form of magic became known as Arcanists, and the school of Arcanima was born. Many such mages, wishing to expand their understanding of the world, took to the seas aboard trading vessels. Upon their arrival in Limsa Lominsa, Arcanists found themselves welcomed into the academic elite and soon secured position in the realm of governess and council. The knowledge of an Arcanist, however, is traditionally passed on from master to chosen disciple. As such, Admiral Melweb, counting several wielders of Arcanima among her personal staff, became concerned that this exclusionary practice would lead to the eventual extinction of the art. So, at the Admiral's express order, an official Arcanist Guild was established, and funding was provided for research and training. The complex and demanding nature of Arcanima, however, remains the greatest threat to its own future. If you would continue your studies of this challenging discipline, then I must insist that you indicate your commitment to joining our guild. Well, have you decided to enroll in our guild? Or are you now intimidated by the thought of excessive thinking? Mary wishes to reaffirm your desire to join the Arcanist Guild. Your sound judgment is to be commended. Now, standard practice dictates that I introduce you to our guildmaster that you might convey your intentions in person. Due to extraordinary circumstances, however, he is unreachable at present. Instead, you may speak with Mistress Thurbagem. She has shouldered full responsibility for the guild's leadership in the interim. You'll find her just over there by the bookshelves. You needn't be shy. Though her mind is sharp and critical, her manner is always most welcoming. Let's speak with the guildmaster. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'll try and return it to its original position. And I've skipped it again. The core of the discipline, however, is found in the pursuit of definitive solutions to any potential quandary. Even on the field of battle, especially in the field of battle, this principle takes precedence. If one wishes to make certain the question of victory, then one must apply the most effective strategy. An arcanist is measured by his ability to calmly analyze the situation from moment to moment and respond with the most appropriate spell at hand. The study of Arcanima will test your mental faculties to the point of perplexity. Are you prepared to reason your way through predicament after predicament? Yes, we are ready to reason. An ambiguous response, the kind I most prefer. An unambiguous response, the kind I most prefer. Let us now see if the clarity of your words is unmatched by the sharpness of your mind. In Lower Lanoska, you will find, among others, 3 species of pests: wharf rats, little ladybugs, and Aurelia. I ask that you employ your skill in Arcanima to eradicate 3 of each type of creatures. Leave the city through the Tempest Gate, and you will soon encounter the potential targets in abundance. As soon as you remain focused, I do not foresee these opponents causing you or your budding abilities undue difficulty. Once you return from completing this preliminary trial, I will welcome you as an official member of the Arcanist Guild. May your judgment remain swift and clear. Oh, my nose. Sorry. Feels like something was tickling the inside of my nose. There we go. Right. So, let us exit out of here. By the way, if you guys do end up wanting to friend me on here, you are more than welcome to. I'll be able to friend people up until I have basically, like, no more space for friends. So it'll be whoever is able to friend me first will be a part of the friends list. I don't think I need more lizards. I think I just need whatever is tickling my nose right now to just stop it. And I think that's the outside world. I think the outside world is doing it to me. Thank you for the cat. All right. So now that we are out here, we're going to use our Arcanist spells. First off, summon Carbuncle. Pretty self-explanatory. Gives you a Carbuncle that you can summon. So yeah, summoning your Carbuncle gives you what is known as a pet hotbar. Your pet hotbar allows you to do multiple things with your Carbuncle. Away, sends them away from the battlefield. Heal will follow you. Place allows you to place it in a certain location. Stay will basically make the pet stay where they are. They also have two other things that they can do. Guard, order pet to refrain from attacking until you attack or are attacked. And steady, orders pet to refrain from attacking until ordered to do so. The most that you will be using with your Carbuncle is place and heal. You want your Carbuncle out at all times. Your other abilities that you have Ruin. Deals unsuspecting damage with potency of 240. Now that is not 240 damage. That is potency. Potency is how much potential damage you could do. You also have another ability called Radiant Aegis, which orders your Carbuncle to grant that specific spell. The effect of the spell is that it creates a barrier around yourself that absorbs damage totaling 20% of your maximum HP, has a duration of 30 seconds, and can only be executed while your Carbuncle is summoned. This is the reason why I say you need your Carbuncle to be summoned at all times. If you do not have your Carbuncle summoned, you cannot use most of your abilities. Well, while we're out here, let's take on some of these creatures, shall we? So, you will end up getting loads and loads of sort of like junk items or items that can be used for crafting and such. You'll also get XP and sometimes I believe Gil as well. And there we go. We've hit level 3. Now let's head on further south. Because we need to attack those things up there. The jellyfish looking things. Boom, there we go. That is all of those creatures fought and taken down. So let us head back. So, a Realm Reborn will have the longest, essentially like the longest part of playing through Final Fantasy XIV. But that is because there is so much to a Realm Reborn. On top of that, the in-between of a Realm Reborn and the next DLC. We'll get to that at a future point, though. For now, let us go around Eorzea and attune to these Aethernet shards. Aethernet shards allow you for quick travel throughout the city and can be pretty much like Aetherites, will be active once you put your hand upon them. If you don't want to be running around the city, I recommend trying to go out of your way and getting all of them. That should be our last one. You've attuned yourself to all Aethernet shards in Limsa Lominsa. The Zephyr Gate, Tempest Gate, and the airship landing are now accessible as Aethernet destinations. And there we go. So yeah, when I picked up this game and started playing through Realm Reborn, I was quite surprised that it was different. But good surprised. I see the creature beyond the city walls posed you little threat. It is with great pleasure that I formally recognise your initiation into the guild from this day forth. You may proudly bear the title of Arcanist. I suggest you continue your forays into the wilderness and keep the pages of your grimoire turning. There is no finer teacher than the harsh mistress of experience. And to commemorate this occasion, I gift you with this hunting log. The enemies marked within its pages have been specifically chosen to challenge your abilities in Arcanuma. When you devise a new strategy or tactic, you now have a ready source of opponents on which to test it. And when you feel you can command Carbuncle as easily as you might move your own limbs, return to me for further instructions. I will be waiting. The hunting log will become very important, especially for early leveling. The hunting log gives you a list of enemies that you can go and slay, and upon completing certain objectives, you will get given XP. This XP is useful. Do not pass up on the opportunity to use the hunting log. The XP is needed. We also learnt a new ability once we hit level 4. Psychic. Or Psysic, sorry. Psysic is our healing ability. This leads you onto the path of you being able to choose either Summoner or Scholar. Sorry, I was about to sneeze then. And my body just rejected that sneeze. We'll worry about that at a later point. For now, let's head back to Bad Run and let him know that we've completed the task that he sent us on. Alright, I will have to go get a new drink before I do that hydrate, so let me go do that now, and I'll be back with a drink. And there we go, I am back. Ah, there you are, Sneak. Enjoying your jaunt around the city, did you? If you mean to base yourself in Limsa Laminta, it won't be the last it won't be the last time you're visiting them 3 places. Now you got some idea of what's where. You can start exploring the rest of the town. So I've got a bit of a runny nose at the moment, so I'm like trying to wipe my nose while speaking, so it's not dripping down my face. You've shown a good ear. You've shown a good ear for listening, lad. Stick with old Balron, and you'll go far. We'll speak with him again. Still in Limbs, are you, Sneak? How'd you fancy a trip outside the city walls? I'd like you to visit an orchard by the name of Summerford Farms. Ever heard of the place? The owner, Stalwin, is an old mate of mine. He's got himself a crew of mostly reformed pirate types, if you could believe that, and has been trying to bring a bit of life back to the fields after the calamity ruined the soil. It mentioned needing another hand or two, and your name sprang to mind. I gave you a glowing recommendation, so make sure you work hard and impress the old bastard. You need directions? The place ain't hard to find. Just take the Suffolk Gate out of the city and follow the road northeast. Right? We've been given a direction, and we've been given a gate that we can go to. Luckily, with the fact that we unlocked all the Aethernet shards, we have access to Zephyr's Gate. Let's head there. Now, you'll see these on the map. These are known as fates. Fates allow you to do tasks and level up in other ways. They also give you experience, and depending on what fate you do, can give you other stuff as well. I recommend, if you are just doing some leveling, that these are a great choice for you. Around these sorts of areas, they are low level and will not do much to you, especially if you're playing like a tank character. Healers might struggle more because they don't really have that many damage and stuff to begin with, but I still recommend them. We'll do this until the fate is finished. So, I will see you after this shortcut. We actually managed to hit level 5 before finishing this fate, which means that we can now go back to the Arcanist Guild and do the next mission. But we'll do that after we've done what we're supposed to do here. And there we go. Fate is done. Now, you will see these little symbols above certain creatures' heads. That is your hunting log. That is telling you that these are the creatures you need to hunt in order to complete. I recommend taking them on. The experience you get from hunting logs is useful. On top of that, it also helps with achievements. And achievements can get you more rewards. Boom, there we go. Now we've got some lost lambs over here, so why not fight these? There we go. Now we are level 6 and we have unlocked some new stuff. So, we unlocked 3 new abilities and we also have this new thing here. This is our trance gauge. If you want to pause and read through what this says, you are more than welcome to. But for those of you that are not able to, essentially what it allows us to do is that it allows us to summon new carbuncles to give us new skills. The new skills only affect certain spells that we already know, so it will not affect how our entire kit works, unfortunately. But it's still good to have. What we'll do is that we'll move this trance gauge down to about here. And we'll keep it there for now. So, one of the new spells that we got, Aether Charge. This is what allows us to power up our spells, specifically Rune 2, Rune 3 by 50, and Outburst by 20. That is their potency being increased. The increase lasts for 15 seconds, and after the 15 seconds is up, it grants Ruby Arcanum. This allows us to summon a red or ruby carbuncle. The other thing that we got was Gemshine. Gemshine allows us to have an extra elemental ability when you summon the certain kind of elemental carbuncle or whatever you have at the time. Yeah. So, summoning a red carbuncle will give us 2 charges of Ruby Ruin. We can then use those Ruby Ruins to cast it onto enemies. And that will do damage. You have a certain time frame that you can use these abilities. So make sure that if you are using those abilities, you are using them within the time frame, otherwise they are gone. Let's keep heading up this way. And we will hit our newest location that we will be visiting back and forth. Ooh, I almost spilt my drink. So, much like we did back in Limsa Lominsa, touch the Aetheryte. And there we go. Teleport learned. This allows us to teleport between different areas now. So now that we have access to this one, it costs 100 gil to teleport to Summerfall Farms. Yes, I know we're only like 5 feet away, but that's how it is. If we wanted to teleport back to Limsa Lominsa, it costs 145 because it is in a different area. Let's speak with Stelwern. You must be the adventurer Baldwin promised to send along. Sneak Metalist, wasn't it? You honoured his words, so that's a good start. I'm Stelwern, the old bastard, as Badron likely described me. And this here is me humble orchard. Good number of the lads and lasses working here once terrorized the high seas. And if you're wondering why I employed these scrangs, well, they used to crew my pirate ship. But the calamity did for our ship, like it did so many others, and I was sore wounded into the bargain. I had to feed myself and my crew somehow, and Admiral Melweb's initiative to get us landlocked buccaneers work in the fields seemed too fine an offer to refuse. Well, turns out you can take the pirate away from the sea, but you can't take the sea away from the pirate. A lot of me blokes just never took to tending the soil, you see. Unfortunately, the botanists I called in to train them have been wringing their hands in black despair. With so much work piling up, I need a tougher soul like you to step in and help where it's needed. Now, certain mission rewards will give you the choice of what you want to have as a reward. These early levels, you will always want gear. Gear helps you level up not only you, increasing the amount of damage you can do, but also increases what is known as your item level. Your item level is indicated by this star here, and equipping these 2 new pieces of equipment I have has increased our item level by 1 point. This is useful to know and is going to be very, very important once we get to endgame. For now, let's speak with Stelwan again. Stelwan, owner of Summerfields Farms, wishes to inspect your equipment and thereby gauge your readiness for the task he has in mind. I have a mind to set you a task, Metalist, but before I do, I need to be sure you're properly kitted out. Pirates don't care to parry with dandies, you understand. It might be that the ones here have traded in their cutlasses for cultists, but they're still rogues at heart. I know a solid set of gear when I see it. Come back when you think you're more suitably equipped. Equip your head, body,